Welcome to session 5 of unit 3 of ESC 209, Methods of Teaching Chemistry. In this session, we are going to look at the project method of teaching. Let's proceed to our objectives. By the end of this session, you should be able to explain the principles of project method of teaching. You should be able to explain the steps involved in project method of teaching, explain the characteristics of good project, and state 4 merits and demerits of project method of teaching. The project method. When we say project, what does it mean? It's a problematic act carried to its completion in its natural setting. Also, a project is a bit of real life that has been incorporated into the school, but it is based on certain principles. What are those principles? One is freedom, and this is a principle that the desire that a student may have for embarking on a project must not be forced on him. It must be spontaneous. Reality. This is a principle that education must be a process that deals with real life situations. Experience is a principle that experience is gained when the student undertakes a variety of activities which are closely related to his interests. Next one is activity. And here, students, especially the young ones, are not able to remain still for a long time without undertaking any activity. And so we should know this, and when designing our lessons, we should design in a way that students will become active participants. Next is purpose, and it's a principle that an awareness of purpose or objective of embarking upon a learning experience serves as a great stimulus and enhances the student's chances of achieving his goal. And the last one is utility, and this is a principle that effective learning takes place when the learner is aware that what he is learning is of much importance and can be put to some use. So these are the principles upon which the project method is built. Next is steps in project process. And the first one is creating a congenial atmosphere. Here, the teacher should not force any project on the students, especially when they are not prepared. Give them the freedom, the chance to select what project they want to work on. Your duty is to redirect or reshape what they want to do. Next is the selection and purposing. The project agreed upon must be such that it is capable of satisfying a definite need or purpose. The next is planning, and here it is the duty of the teacher to remind students the reasons why they have to plan and also guide them in the planning process. Next is carrying out the plan. This step requires a great deal of searching and collate. Students have to look for the materials needed for the project, and they would actually get to work in the project itself. Gather data, finding solutions, and the rest. Then they would have to do self-evaluation. You should note that it's very essential that the work is reviewed when it is completed. And here the teacher should let the students evaluate their own work. Then finally, there is documentation, where there is a record or the activities which have been undertaken in the project are recorded. So these are the steps you follow in the project method. Let's move on. Characteristics of a good project. Every good project should have the following essentials. 1. Usefulness. The project must fulfill a long-standing need. The learning experience in a project must be capable of being applied in life. It should be timely, and by this we mean the project should be related directly to the lesson and vocational interest. It should suit particular mental and chronological ages of students. It should be interesting. It should be something that students will find interest in and should be challenging. It should be challenging, that is the point. It shouldn't be too easy and simple or too difficult for the students. And then it should be economical. Remember, that is not the only thing that students are doing. They will be learning other things and will be doing other activities as well. So it shouldn't be something that they will invest much energy and they will as well invest much of their money into it. It should be economical. It should be rich in experience, and by this we mean the project selected should be capable of correlating different subjects and practical activities of life. And finally, cooperativeness. And by this, the students should be allowed to think and plan independently and cooperatively. So these are some characteristics of a good project. Let's move on to look at the merits of the project method. And one is that it is related to life. It promotes a democratic way of life. Students will plan independently, though you guide them, but they will do that independently. And then in the selection of problem too, they choose which one to select. So there is they look on their own, and there is democracy here. It promotes citizenship education as a source of catharsis for the low achievers. It correlates subjects, that is, with the side of their cooperativeness. And then it gives credence to the dignity of labor. It enhances problem solving as well and lessens the incidence of indiscipline. When the student is much involved in something, then he doesn't have time to be engaging in certain activities that are deemed indisciplined acts. Okay, they are involved and they are only focused on finding solution to something. They don't have time for doing other stuff. But the project method has its limitations and demerits. What are some of them? Lack of competent teachers. Sometimes you yourself, the project that students are selecting, you don't have much experience in it and you are incompetent in it. So if they select A, B, C, D, you would want to take it away for them to do other things. It is unsuitable for students who shirk responsibility, and then there may be lack of requisite books. Students are at liberty to choose what they want to do, and they might do that irrespective of resources available. They will just choose, and in some cases, there wouldn't even be the resource materials for them to consult. It is time consuming. A project can span over a whole term, and student will be working on it for a long time. Meanwhile, that's not the only thing that he has to do, but the project will consume a lot of his time. There is reliance on students' choice. Students are at liberty to choose what they want to do, which is a bad side. And then it's unsuitable for students on transfer. The whole class might decide on a certain project to undertake, and they may have gotten to a certain stage of that project. A student coming from somewhere only comes to meet the middle of the project end, wouldn't understand anything. so it's unsuitable for transfer students. We are ending the session with these self-assessment questions, and I urge you to try them. Thank you.